It's the truth, though. Alright, looks like we're getting started here. Probably gonna get a nice little sync going.
And they're starting up here. I haven't watched much SuperNinTaylor, but I've watched a ton of ACM since 2013. I've been watching ACM. He was the best player at the time I picked up the game who streamed regularly, so I watched him a lot. He's known for using very safe strategies, and maybe it loses some time for him compared to the top players, but it also makes him very consistent. He's one of the most consistent players, for sure.
Yeah, he's one of those runners where people say, if it's good enough for ACM, it's good enough for me. So, yeah. Definitely has a lot of safe, consistent strategies that a lot of people definitely pull from in their runs just to help them get through the game.
He's also known for having very solid movement and very quick menuing. I would actually say he's one of the best menuers. It's not really a word, but yeah. One of the better players at navigating the item menu quickly.
Yeah, his menus are pretty insanely fast. Almost robotic.
Yeah.
Like, you can assume he's probably not human from the way he menus.
He's also a very good Dr. Mario player. I think he has the record even. I could be wrong because I don't keep up with the game a whole lot, but he's very good at that game.
He at least had it at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also really insane at that game. Watching him play, that is just mind-blowing. Yes, he still has the record from 0 to 20. 29-25. Imagine.
Yeah, that game seems like it'd be pretty rough to speedrun, because the placements of the viruses is completely random. So it's probably a pretty tough one to grind.
I imagine so. ACM #1 indeed on the Dr. Mario leaderboards. So the winner of these two will go off to face Greffery in the next round. Greffery has a 127.55, I believe. He's got a high 127. So I think either way that could be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Be an interesting match. So what's there to say about escape?
Well, there's a thing called wall pumping.
No, there's not. Don't lie to people.
In this next little section, behind this throne room, they'll go into like a secret sewer area. It has a lot of enemy RNG to deal with. Pretty much every room has some enemies that can get in your way. This first room, sometimes
Like
a
that.
rat. Yeah.
What were you saying about rats?
Yeah, rats and snakes. They can just sometimes get in your way, and it can be difficult to react to them because of the sort of your limited field of vision, especially in the dark room areas. Can't see very far ahead of you at all.
Oh, okay. I was a little bit afraid that ACM didn't pick up that key because I thought I heard it bounce, but he's safe. SuperNinTaylor, unfortunately, having a Northwest key rat that loses, I think, about a second over the best RNG, which is a shame because it's just literally out of your control. So, good game.
Yeah. ACM getting a 550.
That was good.
Spicy.
Very spicy. It's like NinTaylor's gonna get himself a sub 6 or maybe just a 6, yeah. Still very good escape though. Although as we all know, escape does not matter.
Yeah. That 550 from ACM is a really good time, though. There aren't many players capable of such a time. And yeah, one funny thing about ACM when he's actually doing RTA and grinding for a PB, he will tend to reset 555s, which some people think is pretty crazy. He rationalizes it as he can do better than that 99% of the time, so why not reset the 1% of the time it happens?
What if that happens to be his, like, 0 blue ball run?
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, just good Helma RNG. Yeah, the biggest thing I guess to watch out for in this overworld is just the Octoroks. They're really the only thing that can hurt you. Well, I mean everything can hurt you, but realistically, those Armos Knights should not really get in your way too much. But the Octoroks can be jerks for sure.
You see him accidentally throwing down in that room.
Yep. But grabbing both the magic and the rupee with one boomerang, which is pretty nice. How much does it save if you get the magic? Is it like 3 frames or something?
Yeah, so at the end of every dungeon, the game has to refill your hearts and your magic. So, for magic specifically, it refills 1 magic point per frame. And the magic meter holds 128 magic points. So it's actually about 2 seconds to refill your full magic meter if you're completely empty on magic. Those small jars have 16 magic points in them, so they save 16 frames if you pick them up. The boomerang wastes 13 frames to throw, though, so yeah, it's a net save of 3 frames. Not much, really, so some players don't even like to do it, because it's just like, whatever.
Math.
Yeah. Math and science. Whoa.
Push up your glasses.
Nerd emoji.
Yeah. That's
there you go. Yep.
IRL picture. Ooh, nice. ACM getting a 20 drop. And a 5-drop?
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
He uses a strat that kills 3 Popos, which is a little slower than normal. Oh, he actually accidentally did that too quickly and got hit by the anti-fairy. Luckily, he had enough hearts. That anti-fairy does a full heart of damage, so at this point in the dungeon, you could easily just have 1 heart there and really be in a pickle. That anti-fairy hits you.
That was a crazy easy GR. I didn't think he was gonna hit that one Stalfos with the pot, and then he did.
Yeah.
Black magic, I tell ya. Nice 2 red Igors from SuperNinTaylor there, getting them out quickly. Nice fight from ACM. Looks like we're gonna see something very similar here from SuperNinTaylor. Yes, very nice fights from both of these guys.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was very good.
Both runners will be going to get the boots now. Best item in the game, right?
I like the hook shot better. But
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
What a boots hater.
I'm not a hater. Never said that. I just like the hook shot a lot.
The hook shot is top tier, though. I will agree.
I mean, it's both a weapon and a transportation device.
Well, so are the boots if you count dashing attacks.
Okay, try dashing into something without your sword, and then tell me that the boots are a weapon.
Fair point. ACM missed the spin speed there, and SuperNinTaylor got it, so SuperNinTaylor is going to make up a bit of time on ACM there. A few seconds, actually. That's a pretty significant spin speed. I think the second most significant one, actually, away from Death Mountain, which is just definitely the most significant. What's happening with spin speed is you press dash on the first frame of your spin attack animation, and then you touch a ladder or stairs or something, and Link comes off running really fast, just like for SuperNinTaylor right there.
And ACM doesn't go for either of those spin speeds.
Yeah, I think the only ones he likes going for are the ones after boots, and the one on Death Mountain going to Hera. He doesn't do any others. I don't.
Yeah.
Not even Usain Bolt or a pyramid, which are both pretty big. It's like a second and a half each, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He still gets better times than me. Rip. It's gotta be those menus, man. Like, did you even see him select the item before it closed? 'Cause I don't think I did. I think he was selecting it as the menu was closing.
ACM making his way to Big Key. There's some RNG in this next room with the cannonballs. Sometimes they will block you as you're dashing out. And that's exactly what happened to ACM there. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, but the strategy, if you get blocked on the way up, you're gonna get blocked on the way down if you try to dash right away. So strategy there is to touch the sand or get off the carpet, I guess, before starting your dash. So you want to walk down a bit and then dash. It's faster than, I guess, like dashing once, stopping, and then dashing a second time.
Yeah. ACM's got his power gloves. He's going to be headed into the second half of Desert. SuperNinTaylor about to collect his power gloves. There's another potential spin speed you can do here. I don't think either player is going to go for it. It could be a little bit easy to accidentally jump the ledge.
Yeah, and jumping the ledge there costs a lot of time. You have to actually reopen the dungeon and go all the way back around. So, oh, the SuperNinTaylor is going for it. Oh, I think he may have gotten it, but he came off the stairs. Didn't look like he came off them cardinally, so
yeah.
That would not have activated his spin speed. Yeah, so that is a risky strategy for some people because it only saves less than a second, but it could potentially lose you up to probably like a minute or more if you fail
definitely.
it.
Entering the Slam Molas fight, they'll want to try to use their arrows to shoot the worms. Arrow shots do twice as much damage as sword slashes.
You see him having a pretty good fight.
Looks like he's got a 4-cycle, I believe that was.
Yeah, and that's not bad. Obviously, you know, you want to get a 2 or a 3 cycle, that would be best case scenario. But 4 is really not bad. Might be bad for somebody like ACM, but for the rest of us, it's not that bad.
Yeah, most players at ACM's caliber, they sort of expect a 4-cycle or better every time. Ideally, you get a 3. Well, ideally you get a 2, but 2s are pretty rare for everyone. The typical really good fight is just going to be a 3. So ACM just swam without the flippers there, and I assume SuperNinTaylor is going to be headed towards the same trick. We call that fake flippers. If you can jump into the water, a pixel from the screen transition, and then the game gives you a little bit of leeway where it allows you to swim for 1 frame, so you can actually activate the screen transition. And then on the next screen, the game conveniently doesn't run its check for flippers. And see SuperNinTaylor executing it there. That slash on the bush is sort of a setup to get you 1 pixel from the screen transition. Wow, the race was that close. I didn't even know.
Yeah. Yeah, Parisian was only like a few seconds off of tying his PB. I think it was a 1:28.51 and a 1:29.01.
Dang.
Pretty crazy.
You see him getting hit out of his spin speed. That's always really frustrating.
Yeah. Getting hit out of your spin speed means that you don't have it anymore. You still have like this state, so you can still like activate it if you touch stairs or a ladder. But that would just waste time going out of your way to do that. It's better just to start your dash and get the heck out of there.
this segment's a big reason players like to collect that Sanctuary Heart. It's just because, you know, with only 5 hearts, which is what you would have without Sanctuary Heart, you're really at the mercy of a lot of RNG and silly stuff that can happen in your era. Death Mountain can be pretty brutal, as well as a few of the rooms in the dungeon where you have to deal with the mini mold worms, which are really hard to predict, and they do a full heart of damage every time they hit you. So that 1 extra heart really helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It'll definitely come in handy in other places in the run, but this is probably the first place where you, I guess, kind of notice its, what's the word I'm looking for?
Absence.
Like where you know...
Or presence?
Presence, yeah.
Okay.
Only absence for you, since you're skipping it.
Also, yeah, I forgot to point it out, but ACM does a unique strategy in the tile room. Only he goes for it. He tries to kill the last tile early, which is possible if you win a frame rule. By win a frame rule, I mean the game checks collision once every 4 frames, and if it's checking collision on a specific frame while the tile is first being generated, you can kill it early, like right away as it's made, or as it first starts floating up. That can actually save like a second and a half. It's pretty big, but it's completely random because of that collision frame rule.
Math and science.
Yeah.
I think.
You see him getting really bad RNG from the Dodongos, or the Kodongos, sorry, as they're called in this game for whatever reason.
Brodongos.
Brodongo. They weren't Brodongos there.
No, sometimes they can be Brodongos though.
Yeah. When they drop you arrows, or when they stay out of your way.
Yeah. That's pretty nice. Alright, SuperNinTaylor coming up on his bomb jump here. He's going to be doing the newer bomb tech where you charge up your sword and kind of almost do like the falling or the falling animation. It's like the slipping animation before you fall. And I think that ends up putting you back on the what is it, like the first most pixel outside the pit that you can be on? Is that what it does?
Yeah, yeah.
So that you can get like a faster bomb jump.
Another interesting thing to note about ACM, he completely skips. Oh no, SuperNinTaylor taking a fall. But yeah, ACM skips menuing to the bow and arrow at all. He doesn't use it in Acmlm's tower. That does sacrifice a few seconds, but I guess he's never particularly gotten comfortable with the arrow strats, so... Just another one of those safe, consistent things he does. A bit differently from most other top runners.
There, SuperNinTaylor having a good refight. Getting Moldorm down. And he'll be off to collect his Master Sword. ACM right now is 44 rupees. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, it is.
He can actually skip 1 red rupee. I feel like he's probably not going to though, because he's got an interesting red rupee grab strat. Where he throws the boomerang in a certain way that after he pulls the tree, it actually grabs the rupees. And brings them to him. It's pretty cool. And I don't think anything you see from anybody else. I think he's probably the only one who does it. Or at least the only top runner who does it.
Yeah, exactly. An interesting note about tree rupees, ACM was the one who found them back in 2014.
Nice. Nice strategy.
Yeah, that was really nice.
So now he has 104 rupees. That's the perfect amount that you want going into Aghanim's tower, because you will grab 6 rupees in the tower in the Circle of Pots room near the end of the dungeon, and that gives you the perfect amount to get into Palace of Darkness. So you ideally don't want to have any less than that coming in here, but even if you do, there's lots of enemies that drop rupees, so it's not the end of the world.
ACM's gonna go for the double spin strategy here.
Serving up Din Din.
This is also another thing I don't think he ever learned. Most players these days do a strategy that kills those guards with a dash, so that none of those drops end up coming out. You'd rather those drops. Wow, really good reaction from NTaylor there.
Holy, yeah. That was really close. Bush guards are always awful when you get them in this part of the game, because you do not want to take damage here, otherwise it messes up your rupee tree pulls. But so a surprise guard or a surprise bomb is never a good thing, but he handled that really, really well.
Yeah, that was really good.
So, has ACM now lost his Turtle Rock Fairy?
Yeah.
Potentially. Unless he kills a lot of things.
It does matter less for ACM because he doesn't do the risky roller strategy. So, you know, he can have potentially full health or close to full health anyway, going into chomps.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and we're seeing the Pui strat here from SuperNinTaylor. Executed very well. Yeah, that's basically it there. It uses up some arrows, that's like really the only downside, but if you have enough, it's not a big deal. And just note the arrow difference between these two runners right now. ACM having 18 and SuperNinTaylor right now having 3. He'll gain some in this dungeon, so he'll have a bit more than that, but just goes to show you, you know, not using arrows in this dungeon, you end up with a lot more. And yes, like chest turn from SuperNinTaylor. It's a nice room there from SuperNinTaylor.
You see him getting 1 blue ball in the first cycle of Acmlm.
And SuperNinTaylor using a menu buffer to the Boomerang and Circle Pots room. That's helpful to read the guard RNG in that room, so you know whether or not you're going to have to stun one of the guards or not. It's that rightmost guard. If he is going to be walking east to west, you need to stun him before you aggro him, I guess, and he comes after you and gets in your way.
If Sketch writes the command, he will undoubtedly talk about how it doesn't save time, which I enjoy, because more people should know that. Down with the chest turns.
Whatever, I like chest turns. Even though you probably lose time more often, but trying to go for them. Ooh, ACM taking some damage at the bottom of
that's
here.
That's another downside to the not spin speed strategy is occasionally. Oh, good reactions there though. He got a bad RNG from that Hinox. If that Hinox throws 2 bombs to the right, you will not be able to just dash straight through optimally, or you will just dash right into his second bomb. It's pretty bad and annoying, but yeah.
Here comes Scrivo to correct your pronunciation.
I will call it Hinox from now until the end of time, just to make Scrivo mad. Now,
I don't know if he realizes that that's what we do. If he's gonna point out things like that, we're just gonna do it the wrong way just to spite him, just because he brought it up.
also, yeah, the logic with chest turns on a controller at least is that you are unlikely to be able to cross the D-pad in 1 frame. So are you really saving time? I guess. Yes.
Ether.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the correct way is Ether. I think Ether is sort of like the magic or elemental way of saying it, and Ether is like the chemistry way of saying it.
The chemistry way?
Yeah, the chemistry way.
Okay.
Ether is a chemical.
I'm aware.
Well, I was... in case you weren't.
It's just the chemistry way of saying things, like...
Yeah.
It's like H2O is the chemistry way of saying things.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Dihydrogen monoxide. Maybe.
The chemistry way. Alright, ACM coming up on the hammer jump here. Gonna buffer himself onto the correct pixel, place the bomb, and buffer himself into another correct pixel. Nice job. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor getting the classic 1.0 treatment, where you can get hit while you're falling down a hole. You can also get grabbed while you're falling down, like by the wall master while you're falling down a hole, so good game.
Yeah. The worst place that can show up is in Skull Woods when you're falling into the Mothula fight. If, you know, some part of your dungeon was maybe sloppy or something, you could end up on a cycle where the hand falls to grab you as you're in the pit, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Alright, ACM choosing not to dash here. I believe it was Pinkus who had tested this and found that it was only about 3 to 4 frames faster if you get a first frame dash in this room after hitting the eye statue. I don't know if that's still true, but that's what he said with his testing. So there's definitely a few places in the game that are like that. Other notable ones are leaving Sahasrarla's hut. You only save a few frames, maybe, if you're if you get a first frame dash, and same with blind when you're entering the blind fight. That is a place where you can only save a few frames if you get a first frame dash. So a lot of times it's actually better just to walk those things, because on average you're probably not really saving more time, but you're not losing time. Alright, and Helmosaur is dead. NMG, meanwhile, coming up on Mimics. Not much to say about Mimics. Oh, that arrow like went through that Mimic, it looked like. A little low on arrows, so you had to grab a pot there. But no biggie. The Mimics also drop arrows, which is nice. In that room. SuperNinTaylor having a good turtle room, making sure to kill all of them without flipping any back over or getting hit by anything. Ooh. Taking some damage from a fireball there. I think all the hits that Helma does do 2 hearts of damage, so gotta be careful. You can only take a couple hits, or a few hits, I guess, if you have Sank Heart. He was also waiting there to see if Helma was going to shoot out a fireball. That's because if you are on the last hit of the hammer, like, or sorry, the helmet, like getting the helmet off, and Helma spits out a fireball, you can actually despawn the fireball by hitting the mask off, which is pretty nice. It saves you a whole cycle of fireballs. Alright, ACM is going to go unlock the bird. And here we said with Usain Bolt, he doesn't do the spin speed, he just does a bit of a wiggle and dashes through. If you're not comfortable with spin speed, that's definitely a viable strat. Gets you through the screen, and that's the most important part. You don't want to be getting hit there, getting poked by that Usain Bolt.
Yeah, definitely not.
SuperNinTaylor, just avoiding that bird, dinosaur bird. They do quite a bit of damage. Sorry?
Yeah, looks like he did take a hit from a Ropa on the Labyrinth screen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Alright, SuperNinTaylor grabbing his flute here. Meanwhile, ACM is gonna grab his big key for Thieves Town. And then make his way upstairs and through the door. Oof, that was close, but nice work from ACM and avoiding getting hit there.
Yeah, that's really good. And here you'll see SuperNinTaylor doing the spin speed we were talking about. This makes getting by Usain Bolt pretty easy. And as a bonus, it's just faster by like a second and a half.
Ooh, looks like he may have had the pixel, but got hit out of the God Pixel by the Patrick Star. Although it's a little hard to tell from this stream. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor bonking on this screen. Aggro's a few guards, but thankfully does not take any more damage. It's also going to bonk into this tree for some apples. They refill your health. They act just like his hearts would, I guess. So definitely a good strategy if you're low on hearts there. Ooh, and unfortunately, SuperNinTaylor taking some damage from that horse head. Sometimes they can just get in your way when you hop down, they're just there, and they hit you. Just kind of unfortunate. You take 2 hearts of damage, and this isn't really like the easiest dungeon to refill your health. There are some hearts under pots. I don't believe he has powder. I think he just has the mushroom. So he can't really powder any anti-fairies here. Unless I'm mistaken, but I don't believe I didn't see him go get powder. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor having some rough RNG in the hallway there. Getting blocked by a few things. Having to maneuver his way around.
ECM take it down blind.
That was a nice bomb floor room from SuperNinTaylor there. He got out pretty quickly.
SuperNinTaylor is going to be headed to the basement, picking up the fake maiden and his Titan Smiths. ECM's going to be doing this section of the overworld before going into Skull Woods. Here he's going to get 2 300 chests. These are so you can afford to buy the flippers later. And he's also going to get a sword tempered.
You can see the pots here that SuperNinTaylor is grabbing. There's hearts underneath. And that brings him back up to full hearts, so he has beams now. The only thing you have to be careful about with grabbing those pots is that it sometimes can, I guess, trigger the red horse head at the bottom to come up through the middle of the jail cell. And when he does that and he's moving up the middle, he's shooting fireballs at you, and you kind of have to be careful not to get hit by him. SuperNinTaylor here just having a little bit of trouble in this section with the jellies. Makes it through though, and actually gets a heart drop, so that's pretty lucky.
He was just paying homage to Mutski in that room.
Yeah.
Also, I believe the chat is calling you Batman, and me
Good,
Robin.
I like Batman. Batman's the only good superhero. I'm throwing that out there. And I only say that because I don't know anything about any other superhero.
Wow, you're going to offend the nerd fandom that populates Twitch.
That's fine. I actually don't really care for superheroes at all, except Batman. So, my comments are very, ignorant for sure.
Next, you're gonna start dissing anime.
Don't even get me started. The only good anime is Sailor Moon. And that's because I haven't watched literally any other anime. ACM pushing the mummy with the statue. That's definitely something I have not seen before. But definitely demonstrating why this room is awful. Just a lot of dumb things can happen with the mummies in this room. I don't even want to get into it because there's so many.
Yeah, mummy statue can be a pretty silly room. Wow, SuperNinTaylor getting a lucky 50-50 drop from that push.
Nice.
ACM lightning quick in the menu, getting the bombs.
Didn't even see a menu. It's too fast.
See, I'm bonking back over to preserve health. It's a little faster to fall in the pit to get back to the beginning of the room. But given what happened in Mummy Statue, he's not comfortable taking that extra heart of damage.
It's always slower to die, so...
Yep.
And especially on the Skull Overworld, you have to be careful, because if you end up dying on the Skull Overworld, not that I think ACM would with 4 hearts, but if you do die on the Skull Overworld, it actually warps you back to the pyramid, so you have to make your way all the way back around here, which is a huge pain. It's a big time loss. So dying on Skull Overworld is very, very punishing.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, dying on any overworld in the Dark World would be punishing, but it's especially punishing because you kind of have to traverse the overworld while you're also traversing the dungeon here. So it just makes it a little bit more risky. Do you want to explain the moth fight?
Sure. You'll see him dash into Moth at the beginning. That has a chance to do 2 hearts worth of damage, or 2 hits worth of damage to Moth. And then, it only takes 4 hits with the Tempered Sword to kill Moth. The Tempered Sword is very powerful against a lot of Dark World bosses. It's part of the reason, or really the main reason we get it. So, yeah. From there, you just want to hit him with normal slashes, and hopefully, if you get a really nice Moth like ACM just did, where he just kind of sits around the middle of the room, you can do it pretty quickly.
And spins don't do damage, right?
No, spins do not do damage. Interesting quirk with Moth, he's immune to what we call Class 4 damage, which would be spikes, the gold sword, spins from the tempered sword. It just has no effect on him whatsoever. With spikes, that's actually really important with the fight, because that means if you hit him into a spike, he will take quote-unquote damage from the spikes, but the problem is they do 0 damage to him. So you want to avoid having that happen. That's why Moth's sort of lurking around the middle of the room like he did for ACM there. It's really good, because your slashes will work. You know, they don't get eaten by spike damage.
Good game.
Yeah. If he does hang around the spikes, there's sort of ways to still do damage to him, but they're more difficult, and so it's harder to do, and can potentially be very hard to do depending on the floor patterns you have to deal with.
Now ACM here, there's a quick warp you can get here by bonking off of the wall just to the right. If you bonk off that, kind of puts the camera in a position so that you can, or puts the camera in position, right? It shakes the camera, puts it in position.
Yeah.
To get the quick warp. And I'm not sure, like I remember you saying back in the day that people used to just like eyeball getting into position.
yeah, they did.
And is that something that ACM utilizes now?
Yeah, ACM just eyeballs it. That's another characteristic about ACM. He's pretty slow about keeping up with any new finds. There really aren't too many of his strats that are newer than like 2014 knowledge. That bonk to just get the quick warp 100% of the time was found by a Japanese player named Pui. We didn't know about it or start doing it until, I believe, 2015, maybe 2014. But it's a newer thing, I guess. Not something that was known about from the beginning.
I know that people were doing that when I started, and I started mid-2015, so it would have been before that at least.
Yeah. Yeah, Pui had a number of innovations. When he was grinding for 125, he came out with a number of pretty cool strategies. That was one of them, and then the Gold Knight strategy, the way we do it now, was another one of them.
In Aghanim's Tower.
Yeah, in Aghanim's Tower.
Yeah. And that's got to be a newer strat, right?
Yeah, that's a newer strategy. Gold Knights. Yeah, it was... People mainly started doing it in, I guess, 2014 sometime, maybe early 2015.
Alright, so ACM in Ice Palace. It's got a series of difficult rooms to get through. Also, there's a bomb jump that he's coming up on here.
Yeah, this is really the most significant skip. Oh, SuperNinTaylor having trouble. Missed both the rock and the bush. He's gonna have to go get the sign.
I don't think you can... Yeah, you can't carry the sign down.
Yeah.
Off the ledge. So grabbing a rock. There we go.
He did it.
He did it.
Yeah, that bomb jump saves a lot of time. It allows you to get through that room with the switches, with the orange pegs up and the blue pegs down, which allows you to skip like a huge section of the dungeon. Allows you to skip getting the big key and having to do a lot of backtracking to get the switches in the right order, so that you can push this block down that he's about to push right now. And you'll see. So yeah, see the blue switches are down. He gets to push that block right away.
Yeah, it actually does save a significant amount of time. It's probably one of the biggest time saves in the game.
Yeah.
Is that bomb jump. So when you're learning the game, it's absolutely crucial to learn that bomb jump. One thing I think that Japanese runners did, though, is they did Mire first. And so they grabbed the Cane of Samaria, and so when they dropped down there, they used the block. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I thought that that's...
ACM is in trouble.
I think he's gonna be fine. I hope so.
Oh man. If he gets
Ooh.
touched here, he dies by
Ooh.
us. Oh, if he
Taking
gets hit by
damage
anything
from ice.
here.
No!
Oh no!
Whoa! Oh my god. He took damage from the falling ice twice. They do 2 hearts of damage each, and that just depleted him completely. So this means SuperNinTaylor's making up a lot of time. Your 2 options here are to either farm magic outside the dungeon to get a full magic drop, or to flute to swamp, complete swamp, and then you'll get the full magic refill at the end of the dungeon, and then come back here and finish Ice Palace. I think he accidentally mirrored there. And one thing to note as well, if you're farming for magic outside, it's actually faster to go inside that cave and out, like going in and out of that cave rather than mirroring back and forth.
Yeah.
So just a note if you're doing that strategy.
So SuperNinTaylor has actually taken the lead with that. He's getting hit a lot in this room though.
Yeah.
Needs to be careful.
There's only a few rooms that ACM can skip or do faster, I guess. It would have been the second room in ice with where you have to get the jelly key.
And then the conveyor room as
and then the
well.
conveyor room, because it doesn't have to stop for that jelly key either.
Yeah.
But everything else is going to be the same. Still has to do the bomb jump, still has to bomb the floor here in this room, and all of that. So SuperNinTaylor here, unfortunately not getting the quick kill on those Stalfos Knights. But that's okay, cleans it up. Gets his conveyor key, and he'll be heading off to do the Ice Palace bomb jump. You see I'm not very far behind. Ooh! Taking a fall there. Ooh! Taking another fall there. This is why I hate Ice Palace bomb jump. Trying to line up, and you fall in. There you go. He utilizes that new bomb jump tech, gets into position, and makes it. Oh! Just gotta be careful here. Only at 1.5 hearts. Oh man, him and ACM at the same spot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think what happened to SuperNinTaylor there on that first attempt, it looked successful. If you're on that pixel, you actually can't get it facing down. You have to be facing right. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Yeah, he just kind of zipped past everything and fell down the hole.
Yeah.
Both these guys very low on hearts.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say they're not going to be able to afford any mistake on Cold Stare.
Yeah. SuperNinTaylor does... Oh yeah, he can't do the fake powder thing because he doesn't have the Canis Samaria, but there is a fairy room here. Looks like ACM's gonna go get those fairies. SuperNinTaylor may actually opt to do the same, which I would not blame him. Nope, he's not. He's going straight into Cold Stare.
Oh,
so
wow.
keep your fingers crossed for SuperNinTaylor that he doesn't take any damage on this fight and can make it through. But ACM is in much better health position here. So we'll see what happens. Oof, that was scary. That was scary. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Same.
Okay. Okay.
No.
Be careful. Oh! Oh! Oh my god! Stop! Okay, he's got 1 puff down. Oh! Okay, he's fine. 2 puffs down. And there goes his 3rd puff. Whew! My goodness.
Jeez.
My heart. Holy moly. ACM did take the lead in the fight there, just because he had a better fight overall. Unfortunately, those puffs got away from SuperNinTaylor, but that's okay. It's just a very small lead. So yeah.
That was Yeah. Oh man.
Okay, now that we're all breathing again, these two will be making their way to Swamp Palace next, as long as they're both doing Tempered Sword route. Yes, indeed. And there's going to be no route variants from these two. There's a couple different things that can happen at this stage of the game. If you're grabbing Gold Sword and Silver Arrows, you actually will be doing Mire first and then Swamp. It's just faster to get the Gold Sword after Swamp than it is any other way. Or some people will grab Ether and Ice Rod before Swamp as to avoid taking damage during the Mire segment, or before reaching Mire. But it looks like these two are going to be doing the same route, so they'll be doing Swamp now, and then probably getting Ether and Ice Rod after this, and then doing Mire.
Swamp is simultaneously a simple segment and also kind of challenging. You're never going to die here, or almost never going to die here, rather. It's pretty uncommon to see, even among less experienced players. The enemies just don't do too much damage, the boss isn't too challenging, really.
And you're also overpowered here with the Tempered Sword.
Yeah.
So you can kill everything in one hit, basically.
But at the same time, a lot of the movement is actually pretty difficult, and being able to read the enemies accurately can also be pretty challenging. So in terms of getting a really good time, it can be a difficult dungeon.
Yeah, this is a dungeon where, like, you know, it may feel like it went okay, and then you lost 20 seconds, and you're like, how did that happen? But yeah, it's a lot of little things that can go wrong in this dungeon, unfortunately. So there's really nothing, like, big that's gonna happen to you here. That you're gonna be like, oh yeah, like, I lost a ton of time because of this. Like, it's gonna be, I lost a lot of time because of all these little things. Unless you're somebody who goes for 0 cycle Argus and you miss it, that's probably going to be like your biggest single time loss.
ACM making a mistake there. You should always try to hammer that Stalfos if it's in your way. The hammer just has a more manageable hitbox relative to the sword. Using the sword or anywhere around that switch is a bad idea, because you will often hit it.
Interesting that ACM didn't go for that hammer dash there. And there you saw SuperNinTaylor going for it and getting it. One place you never want to hammer dash is in this room with the big key. It's extremely laggy. There's rupees under all of those pots. And when you expose all of them, it's just a big ol' mess. Game can't handle it. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor having some trouble with the fire snake in the Stalfos. ACM doing a hook dash to that pot there gives Link, I guess, this funny walk. And helps them move faster in the room. And you can also pick up that pot underneath the statue quicker. SuperNinTaylor doing the same. I don't believe we would see Zero Cycle Argus from ACM. I imagine that's
no, we'll not.
Not in his repertoire. I imagine we won't see Zero Cycle Argus from SuperNinTaylor either, but players these days always surprise me, so
yeah.
I never want to say anything for sure. So this is the longest cutscene in the game, from Crystal Catch to, from Crystal Catch to Sword Up. It is 55 seconds, which is the longest out of any of the maidens. ACM going to be grabbing the ice rod. Now he's going to be making his way up Death Mountain to grab Ether. This segment here, it's faster if you do this with the hook shot, and I see I'm having a little bit of trouble here. It's faster if you do this during the Mire segment, because you can do what ACM is doing here, which we call a sword climb. You basically just get the hook dash speed with your sword out and it makes you climb super fast. And that is basically the time save over doing that in the swamp segment. But if you take a lot of damage or have trouble with, sword climbing or need to farm for hearts or whatever, then you start losing time, which is the unfortunate part about it. Alright, SuperNinTaylor grabbing his Ether, and then he's going to be going to get the Ice Rod next. Meanwhile, ACM making his way into the mire. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor having some good reactions there outside of the Ice Rod cave. A couple of those crabs looked like they were right on him, and he turned around at the last second to slash them.
Yeah, those crabs are pretty bad. They do 2 hearts of damage, so if they touch you, it can really put you in a bind entering Mire, where your health is just so important.
So one thing about this dungeon... Oh, we got a bird toss and a dead fish. One thing about this dungeon, though, is you can usually tell what kind of pace somebody is on by their torches time in this dungeon. So once they light all 4 of these torches here, where ACM is, you can kind of get an indication of what kind of pace they're on. So he's got a 110-50 torches, which means he's potentially on 130 or 129 pace, somewhere in there. With a cold stare death, that's not very surprising for ACM. That is a significant time loss. Here's SuperNinTaylor coming up on the Mire torches here. We'll see what kind of time he gets. Looks like it's going to be about close to a 112 possibly. Looks like 111.56 torches, so he could potentially be on like a low 130 pace, like maybe 132 or so. Which I think for him would be a PB if he can play well at the end of the game. Typically for somebody of ACM's level, you're more likely to get about 20 minutes from that Mire Torches time, or better.
Yeah.
Other players, usually it's more like 21 minutes or so. Alright, we see ACM bombing the wall, but you'll notice he still has a bomb left. Didn't drop it until after leaving the room. You'll see a lot of people, if they have 2 bombs there, they'll bomb the wall and then drop a bomb, because then it automatically cycles to the fire rod. And that allows them to then hit the crystal switch in the next room with the fire rod, just to make it a little bit faster. So an ACM is not doing what we typically know as WQ-VIDI, which has like more, I guess, specific movement. But he still gets a 0 cycle, still has 5 hearts left afterwards, so it's still a really good fight. I imagine that he does the strategy that they used to do back in the day, which I think was probably Crystal's strategy. If you know anything about that VIDI strategy.
Yeah, it's the old... I'm not sure if Crystal came up with it or if Oddity came up with it. They came up with most of the older stuff. But yeah, it's definitely from that era of the game. Yeah, it takes more hearts of damage and it's harder to get a 0 lightning with than the newer WQ strategy, which is why most people do the WQ strategy these days.
Yep, and here we're seeing the WQ strategy from SuperNinTaylor. It's got Few eyes left over. Ooh, careful about that lightning. Okay. Ooh, careful of that lightning too. Ooh, boy. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. He's good. Alright.
That lightning would do 2 hearts of damage to him and kill him. So...
yeah, definitely scary. ACM already 3 hearts. 3 hearts. Three hearts down. 3 hearts down on Death Mountain. Hasn't even made it up to the top yet. Had a bit of a party with boulders and squirrels.
Yeah, he showed off one frustrating thing that can happen with squirrels and other enemies sometimes, where the beam's hitbox, since it like runs in circles, it can sometimes bend around an enemy, and that's really annoying when it happens.
Indeed it is. He stopped for the fairy under the rocks, so he's back up to full health. Gonna open up the dungeon, and SuperNinTaylor will be making his way. I think they're about a minute apart from each other.
Yeah, it looks about that way.
Ooh, I thought SuperNinTaylor was gonna get Squirrel Block there, but he was able to sneak underneath it, thankfully. Squirrel Blocks cost about 9 seconds, I believe. Which is pretty significant.
ACM took an interesting route through that first room of Turtle Rock. Or that second room of Turtle Rock, I should say.
SuperNinTaylor had a very clean Death Mountain, so it's gonna bode well for him. Entering Turtle Rock with full hearts, not having to refill or anything. It's really good. ACM also, yeah, like I think we had talked about this earlier, but he mirrors out of the roller room. Whereas most top players, or I think all top players, actually do the damage boost on the rollers out of there. And that's like the main reason why you get, they want to manipulate a fairy drop in Turtle Rock, is to just ensure that when you, if you're going to be doing that strategy in the roller room, that you, I guess, have like a backup for health. Also because everything in Turtle Rock does 4 hearts of damage, which is a lot.
Yeah. Beams also save time in a few rooms. Interestingly, ACM beaming the switch on the way out of Chomps. That's a little strategy that can potentially save time in this upcoming Pokey room. Mike recently found something that means it loses a bit more time than was previously thought. Or saves less time than was previously thought.
Ooh, SuperNinTaylor taking an early hit from a roller. Down 4 hearts, but he's still gonna go for the damage boost here. Ooh, taking more damage. Anything now will kill him. He only has 3 hearts. It's a very sketchy spot to be in. He's gonna grab this heart here for safety, although it won't do him much good, considering he, everything in this dungeon does 4 hearts of damage. Well, everything except, like, jellies and stuff, but everything else. Pokies, lasers, chomps.
Yeah.
The enemies that, I guess, yeah, are in significant parts of the game. Having a bit of chomp trouble here. He's taking this really safe. I don't blame him, because 1 hit from these chomps will kill him. But he makes it out. Alright, he's got 5 hearts now. SuperNinTaylor does, so he can at least take a hit and survive. Ooh, and unfortunately SuperNinTaylor bonked in this Pokey 1 room, which I think is probably the worst room to bonk in. There's some like pretty, I don't want to say specific setups because they are a bit lenient, but they're pretty, there's strategies for that room. And bonking just kind of messes up the cycle of everything. It messes up where the Pokey is, which then can mess up how you move, which messes up where the bunny beam is, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely a room you don't want to bonk in, but thankfully SuperNinTaylor had a fairy drop in there and was able to grab it. Coming up to Pokey 2, 16 different RNGs in this room. Handles that one pretty well. Gets his full magic drop. And he's, oh, unfortunately he tried to bonk over that roller, but I think he just kind of hit it the last little bit there and took some damage. Oof, and you see him getting hit by Trinex. Nice crystal roller from SuperNinTaylor.
ACM going to be headed to the best dungeon in the game, Gan's Tower. This game really says it's best for last.
Yeah, for sure. Ganon's Tower, I guess, is a lot like Swamp and Ice combined, where there's probably not going to be anything like really big that happens that's like awful, and maybe Aga 2 will be bad. But it is a series of really difficult rooms that you need to execute well in order to get a good time. And also just like a lot of little mistakes can really add up and lose you quite a bit of time.
Yeah, this dungeon's really tough.
ACM grabbing the torch key. It's a safer key to grab. But definitely a good option. That's one I think that probably most people grab until they get really comfortable with the chest key before Moldworm 2.
Yeah, for sure. Chest key can be a bit finicky.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the movement's really precise there, but you definitely can be off by a little bit and end up hook-shotting something that you're not supposed to hook-shot and getting hit by the bunny beam. You also sometimes can take damage from the antifairy that's bopping around, so nothing like too extreme, but just little annoying things, I guess. ACM is low on arrows here. When he grabs this pot, he'll only be at 16, which means he's gonna have to grab another pot in this next room here. There's one under a pot. Not one. There's one. There's 5 under a pot, or there's some in the chest right there that the antifairy is floating around near. That one's harder to get though, the chest. So usually the pot is advised. Has a pretty nice Armos. Nice Armos. Whoa, it looked like that arrow went through the Mimic. But maybe he was just a little bit off the hitbox. I don't believe we'll be seeing Ganon Ball Z from ACM either.
Nah.
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 The next fastest thing to do in that room is to do what he did, which is dash and then walk.
Yeah.
Some people think that falling down and then dashing the whole thing is faster, but it's actually faster for one RNG. So yeah, if you can avoid doing that, it's usually good. And ACM's got some different strategies in Gauntlet. Doesn't really do the ones that you see other top players doing. Utilizes the arrows quite a bit, actually. Quite a bit more than you would see from anybody else. Having some trouble with this last Stalfos here in Gauntlet 5. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor running out of arrows at Ice Armos. I don't know if he missed shot or if he just didn't have enough going in. I'm gonna assume that he missed shot because he seems to be pretty good about his arrow and bomb counts and everything.
Yeah. That's unfortunate though. It always hurts to have Ice Armos go poorly. It generally eats up a lot of time. And also, that fight shares a specific variable in the game's memory with the Ganon fight, when Ganon summons his Fire Bat Ring. And that variable isn't reset between the two fights. Also, SuperNinTaylor accidentally mirroring instead of arrowing the switch. Yeah, hate to see that one happen.
Yeah, that's why it's usually a good idea to switch to the arrows earlier on when you're in the previous room, because I think that some people just with muscle memory will end up accidentally mirroring there. It's something that I think we've all done probably at one point or another. So yeah, switching in the room before is usually advised.
And yeah, like I was saying with Ice Armos, if you have a good fight, the Fire Bat phase is completely predictable 100% of the time. But if you mess up the fight, it's not predictable. It's basically going to be random for the player. It's impossible to know what they're going to do, so it makes it a lot more difficult to deal with. ACM's going to be moving on to the Acmlm 2 fight. This fight's pretty different from the first one, actually, because Acmlm spawns these clones. Fortunately, the clones cannot shoot blue balls at you, but on certain cycles, the main Acmlm can, so...
Getting 2 hits in on that first cycle is pretty good. I think some of the best Aga 2 advice I ever got was don't try for 3, because you'll probably end up, like, don't try for 3 hits in one phase because you'll probably end up getting 1 or 0. So
Yeah.
Aiming for 2 is usually better if you can. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor has made his way through Gauntlet and is now coming up here to the 4 Wizrobe room. Wizrobe is a hard word to say fast. I can't do it. So I just want to say Wizwobe or something. Interesting.
Wizwobe?
Wizwobe. Yeah. One interesting thing about ACM's Ganon fight is he doesn't go for Trident Spin, but still somehow gets the 1-in-1. He's a magician. Do you know how he does it?
No.
I challenge you all to try to say Wizrobes 10 times fast. Wizrobe, Wiz. Can't even do it twice. Wizrobe, Wizrobe, Wizrobe. It's too hard.
Wizrobe, 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 Wizrobe. Wizrobe.
I'm not even sure what you're saying at the end there.
Wizrobe.
Wizrobe, 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 Wizrobe. I'm a what?
I really want to start quoting that video, but...
Please don't. Inappropriate.
Might have a few too many bad words. ACM has gotten the blue pig down.
GG ACM, a 131.39 with a cold stare death. Not bad. SuperNinTaylor not far behind. Might be on PB pace.
It's a possibility.
Yep. Well, no. He has a 134.16, but he's very close to PB though. He's got a pretty good Ganon too. Ganon Gold, which is also in his PB. So no chance of PB, but he's very, very close. Only about 23 seconds coming out of Ganon's tower. So very nice run from SuperNinTaylor here. Ooh, SuperNinTaylor taking a death to Ganon.
Oh, man.
Hookshot to the right, and I think it wasn't long enough hookshot, so he ended up getting hit by a bat.
Yeah.
Alright, having a better time here, although missing the 1-in-1. Not a big deal though. It's always better to stay alive. His bats are probably going to be a bit messed up here just from dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this all too well. This is unfortunate, but that's okay. Jumping right back into it.
Yeah, this fight can be really tough to do with different fire bats than you're used to. Gets the absolute worst top warp here. It is so hard to one-cycle this warp spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man.
Come on. Alright. Still in phase 2 here. It's hard to get hits in and I'm trying to stay alive here. Ooh, those are oof, okay. Oof! Jesus! Okay, we're fine. Oh god, are we fine? Yeah, we're fine. Whew! Almost not fine. But we're fine. Ooh, unfortunately getting blue ham there on the free Ganon spin. Gets his torch glitch with the lamp, and now he just has to be careful not to get hit. The goal here is to get 3 spins per phase. It's easiest to do that with the fire rod. His gold Ganon time is pretty good, especially for his level, or for his PB, I should say. So we should see a pretty good Ganon fight from SuperNinTaylor here. Yeah, I would say this is like way beyond a 134 level.
Yeah, this is good.
Very nice. GG, SuperNinTaylor.
SuperNinTaylor is finished with a 136.56. Only 5 minutes behind ACM.
Yeah, he was actually on pace for much better than that.
Yeah.
Probably more like a mid 134. But unfortunately took a couple deaths to Ganon. We'll see if SuperNinTaylor wants to come in for an interview. We'll give him a few minutes and see. But I guess in the meantime here, we'll I guess give you a little bit of update on the tournament. So next ACM goes off to fight Greffrey. That'll be his second round. And the upcoming matches that we have for this tournament are we have tomorrow, Thursday, or sorry, not tomorrow, none tomorrow, but we have them on Thursday at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. We've got some races, then Friday at 4 and 5. So far, that's all that's scheduled. So make sure if you want to see some of those matches that you tune in. We've got SuperNinTaylor in the channel. Let's just get him in here.
Hey, I'm just not sure if you guys can hear me or not.
Yep, we can hear you.
One sec. Actually.
Yeah, we can.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, you hear me? Sweet.
Yes. Congratulations on the run.
On finishing, yay!
Yeah. But you were doing really well. I mean, up until those Ganon deaths, I saw you were only, like, what, 20 seconds off your PB, so...
Yeah. I mean, even my PB is terrible, to be honest.
Well, we were actually saying that your Ganon fight is definitely way beyond your PB. So, you actually have a better Ganon gold than I do. By quite a bit, so...
Yeah, I literally, like, just forgot how to one cycle or zero cycle Ganon as I got to the fight. I was like, wait, what do I do again?
Yeah.
It's just been way too long since I've done it.
Yeah. Still very good, though. I mean, your last fight with Ganon was actually really well done.
Yeah. Yeah, I just played that one really safe. I was like, you know what, I just want to finish this. Or
yeah.
sort of safe.
So how do you feel about the run overall?
I mean, I guess I'm my own worst critic. I felt like pretty much every single split was bad for me. Like, if I'm comparing to my best splits for each thing, I got red in every single split in this run. Like, by a lot. But, yeah, it was alright, I guess.
Yeah. But you still almost finished almost close to your PB, so that's at least good for the future. Probably means you can get
there's
a
like
PB.
a big disparity between my PB and my sum of best. So I know a PB is coming soon. I just need to, like, stick with it. So I do a few runs, and then I stop playing, and I come back to it, and it's hard to stay in the groove.
Yeah. I think a few things that we noticed throughout the run, though, is just your reactions to some of the RNG were really well timed. Most notably, I think, when you got the bush guard in the Lost Woods.
Oh, jeez, yeah, that was...
It was like the last second you turned around and slashed him and didn't take any damage, and we were like, whoa. That was close.
Yeah, I think I, like, barely dodged the cabbage on Death Mountain.
Yeah, and there was also the crabs outside of the Ice Rod Cave, too. There was one that was right on you, and you just turned around and got him right away, so... Yeah, that was definitely really good.
Yeah, I know I have it in me to have a good run, but it'll just come in one of these days.
Yeah, I mean, if you just keep playing, it'll just happen, so it's usually the way it goes.
I've just been stuck between, like, moving between places, so I just haven't had a lot of time, but I'm finally settled into my new place, so hopefully I have time to get better.
Yeah, hopefully. So I want to know also about your decision to not grab any fairies before Cold Stare. What was, like, going through your head at that point?
I thought about it. I quickly glanced over at my phone and saw somehow ACM went backwards in the dungeon. I guess he got lost. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go for it. And then I was going to go for the poke dash strat, but then I knocked Cold Stare too far away from me, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get it. So then I was going to do the slash strat instead, and I was like, you know what? If I get hit by a single icicle, I'm screwed. So I let him loose, and I was like, I'm just going to try to clutch this out. And
you did, so that was good.
Yeah. So it was risky. Risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I didn't think I'd beat him anyway. Even if I got, like, a perfect Cold Stare fight, ACM has just played this game way longer than I have, and he was going to chip away and catch up eventually anyway.
He's played way longer than pretty much everybody, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that ends your journey in the tournament, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I came into this knowing, like, if I lost, I was completely okay with it. I had fun. My only goal was just to make bracket stage, which I did.
Well, that's good. Did you PB at all during the tournament?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. Oh.
No, well, that's okay, because we know you're capable of it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, my PB is actually still within the first month of me even trying NMG.
Oh wow, that's really good then.
Yeah. Like, I've only played for a combined maybe 2 months or so. So I played for a month, and then I had a whole bunch of stuff going on, so I didn't play for a while. And then altogether, I'm probably at about 2 months worth of playing or so.
Yeah, that's really good then.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, do you have any last words about your run or your time in the tournament or anything?
No, I'll just say GG to ACM, good luck in the rest of the run. Thank you guys for commentating. It looked like we had no commentators for a while, so I don't know if you guys just, like, did a last minute jump in or what.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, just popped in.
Thanks
Yeah,
to anyone
same.
in chat that was rooting for the underdog.
We were all rooting for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you, and
Yeah,
GG.
that's it from me, I guess. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, I'm out.
All right. See you later. So coming up next on this channel is some Link to the Past randomizer. I think that's pretty much on every speed gaming channel tonight. So if you like randomizer, don't worry, there's lots coming. So, but if you want more NMG, like I had said earlier, the next race is going to be Thursday, May 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be Bamboo Shadow versus TGH. Should be a pretty good run. And then at 4 p.m. there's Gem versus Andy, and 8 p.m. is Walrus Prime versus Kyong. That's all happening on Thursday. So lots to come still in a couple days. Sadly, nothing tomorrow, but that's all right. Sometimes you need a little break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. GG to ACM for the win, and for SuperNinTaylor for having a good run. And yeah, stay tuned for Rando if that's your thing.
Later on.
See ya.